Hi, my name's Freddy, and I would like to welcome you to my first devlog to the project I call The Sacred Song. In the background you will see video footage of the game I've been working on, and I want to take you on a journey of the evolution from the very start to where we are right now. When I started working on this project, I had little to no knowledge about coding and very little knowledge about animations. Whatsoever, I have worked with the Unity engine before. I have done a few little projects, but none of them were finished and they were just for me as a hobby. What you see in the background at the moment was done through the Corgi engine from the asset store. The Corgi engine allows you to get to know Unity in a 2D environment for a reasonable price. It is a great tool, yet I realized that I was confined by it. I started to browse YouTube for coding tutorials and started to think about how realistic it would be for me to realize the whole game by myself. As you can see in the background, I decided to redo everything. I drew new animations and I started to code by myself. I realized how hard coding can be, and I started to lose motivation rapidly. After browsing Udemy, I found a great course by James Doyle. I've linked his Udemy page in the description, since I'd estimate that I've learned about 80% of my coding knowledge through his tutorials. After learning the basics of C#, my main goal was to create a character controller which would feel great and which I would be happy to play with. I created a simple UI and I started to work on more gamey mechanics like, for example, checkpoints, traps, coins which can be picked up, a health system, damage, and platforms which can be jumped on. At this point in the game, the character has a pretty developed movement controller. He can jump, double jump, dash, and wall clinch, as well as lose HP and also die, which will reset him to his respawn point, which can be set newly with a checkpoint. All of these abilities are set up in a way that they will be unlockable in a later stage of the game development. This means if you defeat a major boss, you might unlock a new ability, as for example the double jump. With this, I hope to give the player a feel of character development, and further I will hope that with the different weapons which can be used and picked up and interchanged and upgraded, there will be a sense of progression and a feel like you are playing not only a platformer but also an RPG. The next big steps I want to tackle while developing this project is the map design. I will finish the first map just up to the first boss fight, and before I start working on a boss fight I want to work on the combat mechanics itself, which means there are supposed to be enemies. These enemies will respawn when the player dies, similar to the bonfire mechanics in Dark Souls, which means the player will restart at a checkpoint and he will have to redo his whole progress he has done so far. Very important when creating a combat system is of course an AI. I'm a little scared of this process, but hopefully this will not be a problem, and hopefully I will be managed to create a great solution for the combat system and the AI in my game. More important core mechanics which are not yet in the game but I hope to develop soon, or at least in the near future, are a form of NPC interaction and also a form of hub, which means the player will have a form of hometown where he can return to talk to a blacksmith, for example, to upgrade his weaponry, or to someone who can help him upgrade his main stats, for example, attack speed, attack damage, or max HP. A big part of this game will be the storytelling. I'm very excited to create a very fascinating story for my platformer, and I hope to use a form of storytelling which will not mouth feed everything to the player. This means there will be hidden details in the environment, there will be texts which can be read from the item descriptions, and also very important informations which can only be gained through NPC interaction. I want the player to discover the world around him, and I really want to immerse him into this fascinating place. There are 7 levels planned, and for now I have only finished 1. As you may see, I have a long road ahead of me, but I'd be more than happy to see you tag along. As soon as the game is in a somewhat presentable state, I will create a Steam page, and if I get 10,000 wishlists, I will be featured on the popular section of the Steam store page. If you have productive criticism, I'm more than happy to listen to it and also react to it. Please consider subscribing for more information about this project, and most of all, share this with your friends. Thanks for listening and have a great day.